So for a lot of teenagers, their first moment of actual disappointment is when they're applying to college. So let's say they have their heart set on like, I want to go to this school,
I was
right?
disappointed my whole childhood.
But then they don't get in, and they're kind of like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, because they don't have the coping skills to deal with that. And it's because of this whole trend of everybody gets a trophy, everybody is, special, and everybody is this and everyone's that. Losing is part of life. And one of the things that I think you and I know is that failing is not necessarily a negative thing. Failing is learning.
It's not a bad thing at all. You learn from it. You get better. You improve.
Hey guys, this was a great episode. I had on Karina Money. She's a former professor who used to teach at Northeastern. She wanted to make a difference in how children are learning and how they think, so she opened up ThinkGym in Windham. It's where kids learn science and math through fun activities, and Karina is just a super interesting person. Enjoy the show, guys. It's a lot of fun.
The mic drop.
Subscribe to success.
All right, guys, here we are on another episode of The Mic Drop, powered by Premier Mortgage Lending. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. We have Dr. Karina Money on today, owner of ThinkGym in Windham. We did a local business spotlight with you probably, maybe 2 months ago now?
Yeah,
something like that.
Time.
And we had a great conversation that day that I came in, and when the guys came to do the filming. I thought you were super interesting. You had some good opinions, thoughts. So I wanted to have you on so you can share your thoughts and opinions with everybody else, because I like hearing different people's thoughts and opinions.
Well, happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. So usually what I have everyone do is kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you came from, how you got to where you're at today.
All right. So I am from Massachusetts, and I kind of lived in Boston since college and kind of stayed, and I have been in education for almost 2 decades now. I worked in the K through 12 sector a little bit in the field of psychology. My background is in psych. And then I went back to school to do my doctorate and got into teaching at the college level. And that's kind of where I've been for a while. And what I noticed over the years, teaching freshmen, juniors, and seniors at some of the finest institutions in Boston, is the complete decline of critical thinking skills. They are no longer able to take a theory and apply it. They can look at a textbook and memorize it and pass a test. And I notice this happening year after year, and it just gets progressively worse. And once we happily moved to New Hampshire, we're very glad to be here. It's been a while now. Feels like it's been home forever.
Live free to die.
That's right. And absolutely. And what I really wanted to do is rethink where I was career-wise. Do I really want to be doing that commute back? Do I really want to be dealing with the things I've been dealing with? And I'm someone who likes to tackle problems head on. So what I realized over the last couple of years, the problems are not at the college level. The problems really start from that K through 12 level. So there's been this disconnect in education where kids are no longer being taught to think critically, analyze things, and literally think for themselves. And that transcends into how they are as college students later. So one of the goals of ThinkGym, other than having kids excel in math and the sciences, but it's giving them that project-based learning, but really the purpose is to have them critically think. One should never accept something just because it's in a textbook. I've been telling my students that for over a decade. One should never accept a study at face value. Your goal as a student, as a researcher, is to look at a number of different things, and you as the individual draw your own conclusions. And those skills are needed at that K through 12 level. And that's kind of part of why we opened that business. And the other piece of it is that we wanted to provide an opportunity in Southern New Hampshire for kids who are not getting challenged in their current schools to have a place to go where they can, be challenged in those areas of, the science and the math and the technology and the application of all that while developing their critical thinking skills.
Makes sense. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the breakdown in the critical thinking skills comes just from the education system, or do you think it's, parenting and people kind of doing everything for their children from the very beginning? Because I know when I was a kid, nobody did shit for me. You know what I mean? You had to actually figure things out. And it seems like there's been this breakdown from what I can see of, people talk about the millennials, right? It's not necessarily the millennials. I think it's even wider than that. It's probably, people that are just a little bit younger than me, right? So I'm 43.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm a little older than you, not much.
Maybe a year or two. Maybe to like the mid 30s, mid to low 30s and under. It's like these people, a lot of people don't know how to do anything or figure things out on their own.
So I'm actually glad you brought all this up.
Yeah.
So one of the classes I used to teach is developmental psychology, which literally goes from birth to death and everything in between. And one of the things I always brought up is, all of a sudden I'm here and I'm teaching this generation of kids, and they're the everyone gets a trophy generation. Okay, when you and I were growing up, you had to earn your trophy. Everyone on the team did not get a trophy. I don't care how old you were. It doesn't matter if you're 6, if you're 7. You learn to lose. It was called good sportsmanship, right? They don't do that anymore. So now but not everywhere. Everyone gets one. At least in Massachusetts, every kid gets one. I think all the way through senior year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that to be a fact. But don't quote me. But when they're little, they all certainly do. Nobody learns to lose, and nobody learns disappointment. And what's really lacking is coping skills. So for a lot of teenagers, their first moment of actual disappointment is when they're applying to college. So let's say they have their heart set on I want to go to this school,
I was
right?
disappointed my whole childhood.
But then they don't get in, and they're kind of like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Because they don't have the coping skills to deal with that. And it's because of this whole trend of everybody gets a trophy, everybody is, special, and everybody is this and everyone's that. Losing is part of life. And one of the things that I think you and I know is that failing is not necessarily a negative thing. Failing is learning.
It's not a bad thing at all. You learn from it. You get better. You improve.
You learn from it. You get better. You improve. It opens up a new door to something. But knowing how to fail and knowing how to cope when things don't go your way actually builds character. And it shows, work, like this drive to succeed. And I think that that's kind of missing. I mean, I have had 19, 20-year-olds fall apart because they don't like their grade on a midterm. I'm not going to give them all A's because they're paying to be there. They have to earn them.
Absolutely.
And this idea of earning something has now become almost like a foreign concept to a lot of people.
Yeah, or even like along with that, because I think it kind of goes like hand in hand, is they don't know how to lose and they don't know how to figure out anything on their own. You know what I mean? Like I have people, even, I love everybody here at the company, but some people, and it's not even a knock on them, it's just like a society thing. They'll ask me a question that I know that they could literally just look up on their own or figure it out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, why don't you just go look it up? You know what I mean? They look for the easiest way without having to do any work, but that's how they've been taught.
But that's
also,
what
I mean? Because their parents have done that to them.
But that's also they
crazy.
can't get from point A to point B without being told exactly. I've had people work for me where I'm like, okay, answer my calls, and then somebody will ask for something, and it'll be just to pull up some information.
Yeah.
And then the person just hands me a note that says so-and-so called. I'm like, what did they want? Well, they wanted that information. Well, why can't you tell them? Why can't you go find that information and tell them? They can't take the next step. And again, this goes back to what I believe is this lack of analytical and critical thinking skills.
It's even simple things. It's funny you say that because this almost blew my mind a couple weeks ago. I forget the guy's name. Was on Bob Smith's on the phone. What does he want? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Why is he calling? Does he need to? I don't know.
No.
You didn't ask him?
No, they're not going to ask. No, you didn't. Did you tell them to ask? No, you didn't. You told them to answer the phone and find out who's calling. Right. So in their mind, okay, they did what you wanted.
I think it also seems as though that people nowadays only do the minimum that they have to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Never any extra over and above. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's a shame. It's like, don't you want to be better?
But here's the thing. If you're taught since childhood that everyone's the same, and it's okay to be okay, and your goal is to just be okay. I hate okay too, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Why? Why would they want to be better than okay? They don't know what it's like to win, to feel something. Remember when we were young and if you were an athlete and you won, you had MVP or you won that trophy at that sports banquet, that pride you felt as a little 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, that carries you through. If they've never felt that, if everyone is just exactly the same because everyone gets their trophy and everyone gets their thing, then no, why would they? Why would they?
Because winning is so much more fun.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
I'm a winner. You a winner?
Yeah, I'm a winner.
All right.
Yeah, I like to win. You know what I mean? Every day, and no matter what I do.
Yeah.
You know, because, I say that to people here, I say that to other people I talk to. The feeling of winning, especially after you put in a lot of hard work, is great. There's no better feeling than that.
Agreed.
You know, why do you just want to be mediocre? You know?
I don't know.
Well, what I love is that you're saying, well, fuck it. I'm just going to start with little kids and try to fix this problem.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's awesome. You know? So how's it been going since you opened up?
It's going. I think we're trying to get our name out there.
Yeah.
You know, we're new. A lot of people haven't heard of us yet, so we're doing everything we can. The kids that have come in have been great. They're the kids I thought would come to a place like this. They're curious. They're smart. They want to learn more. For the younger kids, we incorporate, their learning, but at the same time, we'll do some sort of game with physical activity that they can also get into and burn off some steam because you don't want them just sitting there for the full hour and a half. That's not what it's about. And what I see just as someone who's in there and who's also, I'm doing some of the teaching in there too, just while we're getting started. What I'm seeing is how much these kids, elementary age kids, are thriving at doing work group projects together and just being together and playing together. And people have had in the last 2 years very different experiences in terms of school. Some people have been blessed to have full-time school and doing all that we have with our kids, and that's just because of where they go and the fact that it's private and stuff like that. But watching these kids who may not have had that opportunity really come together and just be like, like it's 2019. Yeah. Hey, here's a group project. Let's do it together. Let's do these things. And they're thriving. They miss that. They need that, you know.
Kids need that. People need that. Everybody needs that.
Right.
You know what I mean? The last 2 years have been kind of nuts. You know what I mean? There was a thing you just said that made me think of something else, right? So my oldest son goes to school down in North Andover, at North Andover High School. And even the way, and I want to get your thoughts on this, right? Even the way that it's almost like there's no rules in high school anymore. Like they can just I'll explain what I mean, right? They can just leave and not go to class. And so he's got this directed study, just a study hall in the morning, right? And he's like, Dad, nobody goes. I'm like, what do you mean nobody goes? I'm like, it's a class. You got to go, right? He's like, nobody goes, and they don't say anything about it, and you don't lose any credit. I remember if we didn't go to a class in high school, you would get a detention, some form of punishment, something. Detention?
Right? We'd get suspended.
Yeah, no, we get detention for skipping a class, which was fine. You know what I mean? But there's no repercussions for anything. He was telling me the kids smoke in the bathroom, they vape all over the school, and nobody says anything. It's almost like the teachers are afraid of the students. It's crazy. That's it's crazy. And I've heard that in other high schools as well. It's not just there, it's all over the place. And I think it goes back to everyone being so afraid of, if you're going to get in trouble, if the parent's going to call the school, why can nobody enforce anything anymore?
I don't know.
What's your opinion on the way, the same, I think it goes along the same lines, everybody gets a trophy, right? Nobody can get in trouble. Why? Why is that?
I think that.
What's wrong with our education system?
Oh, God.
Everything.
You have 5 hours?
Yeah, I do, actually.
I think the consequences. I think also there's lack of respect. I think I don't know. I'm comparing it to when we were little.
Yeah.
If your parents got called into school in the 80s,
oh yeah,
you were scared.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. And the teacher or the principal would talk to the parents and be like, Johnny did this and Johnny did that, and what's the consequence? What's the disciplinary action? And now, in some of these schools, the parents get called in and you have the parents telling the teacher off because Johnny got in trouble. It's the teacher's fault. It's this whole shifting thing. Yeah, there's no respect for authority. I mean, I will never forget when I was teaching at my last place of employment, I said to a 19-year-old now, okay? I said, the kid wasn't doing well in my class. I said, you need to come to my office hours so we can figure out a plan. Otherwise, you're not doing well.
Right.
The kid looks me straight in the face. I can't come to that. That's my nap time.
My nap time?
Nap time. And I'm thinking to myself, when I was a college student, if a faculty member said to me, you need to come to my office,
I'll be there.
not only would I be there, but I'd be like scared
Right.
walking over there, being
Right.
like, oh my God, what is happening? No, they're not scared. It's their nap time. It's their gym time. It was one of those like,
time.
no consequences. And the thing is, they don't care. They don't care.
What was your response to that?
I just kind of looked
I
at
would
the
be like,
person.
what?
That's I was so confused by that. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I couldn't like. I've heard some funny things over the years, but that one, like nap time,
Yeah, that's crazy. You're
like
19 years
really,
old.
do you need your blankie and your
Right.
binky too?
Yeah,
Really?
you're in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was thinking when you were talking about that with the parents, it almost seems like back when we were kids, it was the faculty, the teachers, and the parents, kind of like against the kids. Now
Right.
it's the other way around.
Yeah.
It's the kids and the parents against the faculty and the teachers.
Yeah.
And that makes. When are the people going to realize that the parents that are doing these things, that all they're doing is a disservice to their children? Like, I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent, but our kids, we've made them do everything themselves from the time they were 2 years old. You know what I mean? Like, get your breakfast, put away your dishes, clean up your laundry, put your laundry away. You know what I mean? My wife will fold the laundry, but she puts it in their room, they put it away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, have some responsibility. Take care of your shit, Like, we went away a couple weeks ago, and my mom watched the boys, right? And we were talking on the phone. She goes, they're unbelievable. In the morning, they get up, they get their breakfast, they get their backpacks, they're ready to go out to the bus. I'm like, yeah, because we taught them what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I want to create capable children
Yeah.
that can be successful in life.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a shame that people don't realize that all they're doing is fucking these kids up.
Well, it's like instilling this whole idea of like helplessness into these kids. Like they're not helpless. They want to learn. They
Yeah.
want to be able to do stuff for themselves. Somebody
Yeah.
just has to show them.
Right.
And have some expectations of them. When there's no expectations, then there's nothing. That the result is nothing.
Right. Encourage them.
Yeah.
Push them a little bit. Being pushed is okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And having some standards is okay.
Yeah.
Having some expectations as a parent, having expectation is like, look, you're expected to get up in the morning and do these things. And our expectation is you get these grades and we'll help you.
Yeah.
If you need help, we'll get you a tutor. We'll sit down with you.
Sure.
We'll help you achieve those goals. But you have goals.
Right.
And these are your goals. And this is what's expected of you.
Yeah.
And that's not happening a
No,
lot.
we talk about goals in my house all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of us. It was funny. We were driving yesterday, and my wife was talking about some goals that she has for this year, and I pretty much talk about that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even the little guys are talking about goals that they have, and it's like you need to have something to push for and work towards. You know what I mean? Rather than just like kind of floating through life, and that's what I see happening so much now. You know, and even the whole COVID situation. Nonsense situation, whatever you want to call it, that we're in right now. It's like all we're doing here is weakening the country, really, by the way people are approaching this. I know you had some strong opinions on that. What are your thoughts? I like strong opinions.
Which part?
All of it. Masks, remote learning.
Remote learning is one of the biggest disasters in education
Yep.
that I think has ever happened at every level,
Mm-hmm.
at the college level, at the high school level, at every level in
agree.
between. The fact that some schools kept it up for so long is disaster. These kids, I don't know when they will catch up. The fact that there are schools in our country who are back, I think it was Flint, Michigan that I saw the other day, is back to remote learning with no end in sight. I don't know why, but that there's other, like the experiences our kids have in New Hampshire are not the experiences of kids across the country. And it's sad. It's upsetting because it didn't have to be that way. I don't think it has to be that way. I think the goal should have always been to keep the kids in school. I think, that the way the approach is in our state, where masks are parents' choice, I think is how it should be.
Yep.
I think that people at, a couple of years into this thing are aware of what's happening and aware of the risks and should decide those for themselves in every aspect. And, it's not, the issue is not, it's what's going to happen 5-10 years from now, like when these kids who have experienced all this and how they've been treated during this time, and I'm talking in like really hard lockdown type of states, is they're going to remember that.
Oh yeah.
They're going to grow up and they're going to vote and they're going to become leaders in businesses and politics and everywhere, and they will remember. And I think that education has taken a huge blow during this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we in Windham, we only had it for a little while. It wasn't too bad, but it was like half school. You know what I mean? It wasn't even.
Well, Windham had the hybrid too for a while, which I actually think is better than all virtual. But I don't.
Oh, all virtual is terrible.
All virtual is terrible.
My oldest son, he was he was a freshman. What year are we in now? It was freshman last year, and it was like, I mean, it was pathetic. I would walk in his room, and nobody would even have the screens on. The teacher would just be talking. Nobody's learning. Yeah, he's like, no, we're not learning anything.
Well, so
it's like a whole year.
I taught a year and a half of Zoom college.
Yeah,
and I will be the first one to say it was horrible. It was awful. These people were paying over $60,000 in tuition, crazy, and they were not getting any of their money's worth. It was bad from the perspective as the faculty member, because you can't engage with these students, you can't have discussion, you can't do it in a meaningful way. The students, even though I requested the cameras be on, not because I was trying to micromanage them, but because my feeling is if I have my camera on, I want to be able to look at something, not a black square on the screen.
I agree.
Because it's ridiculous. But they'd turn off the thing, they would play video games, they'd watch their Netflix, they didn't care. And it was just, nobody got anything out of it. It's just not a productive learning environment, and on any level. My son's private school did it in the beginning, and then they did the hybrid thing like Windham did, but they stayed hybrid for a while. But their Zoom thing, it was live Zoom, it wasn't recorded or anything. It was better than I think that the public schools did it. Yeah. But by the same token, I still can't believe that that society really did that to kids in how they were treated. Like, I grew up in a time where, not to quote Whitney Houston, shows how old I am, but the children are the future.
Yeah.
And they are the greatest gift, and every generation that's older, you live for the next, and you make your country and your life, your own family better for your children and your future grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. And somehow, during the last 2 years, everybody forgot that.
Yeah, everybody forgot a lot of things over the last 2 years. You know what I mean? The children is definitely, the biggest piece. I mean, it's just not healthy for kids to be alone all the time. You know what I mean? And not be physically interacting with other children.
Yeah.
I mean, the social aspect is huge.
Yeah.
Never mind the actual education, but the social aspect. Like, fortunately, my little guys, they have each other, right? Mm-hmm. But I was thinking, like, what about like an only child who's just home by themselves all the time? You know what I mean? Or you think about in the cities, right? In the cities where, there's a lot of, people that, don't have the best home life, children that don't have the best home life, and school was a safe place for them to go. For them to go, to get food, you know what I mean? Be in a safe atmosphere, have some structure in life. And instead they're just left probably to be alone all day long.
Yeah.
It was just crazy to me. And then even all the businesses being shut down. People who had these restaurants and businesses they worked for 30 years.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yep.
Gone. All because it's just easier just to say, everybody stay home, everybody shut down. You can't go out if you don't have it. It's all money. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. Even the fact that in Massachusetts right now, in Boston, the fact that in order to go to a restaurant, you need to have a vaccination card, which is absolutely fucking insane to me, because you can still get COVID when you have the vaccine. So what's the point? And you can still spread it. It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. The unhealthy people, the older people, the people with, compromised immune systems, you stay home. The world needs to move on.
Yeah.
It does. It's just, it's creating a major disservice to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think it's sad. I think it's sad that our country is in this position right now.
Oh, I agree.
Right.
The Boston situation with the mandates is I can't believe that is a city that I lived almost 2 decades of my life in, and I don't recognize it anymore.
No.
At all.
It's a different
and
place.
I will never go over there. I haven't been there in 2 years, and I have no desire to ever go back there. And we used to go there all the time, and that's a city that I loved, and I cannot believe that this is what is acceptable to anybody.
No, it's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking. You know what I mean? And it's the thing that I always think about when it comes to like what, you know, the shutdowns have done in the city is the lasting impact that's going to have on the economy and people's lives is going to be much, much worse than people getting COVID. You know what I mean? But people don't want to look at it that way. It doesn't. I just can't wrap my head around it. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and I don't. I mean, listen, you and I are. I mean, we're smart people, but we're not going to sit here and solve that.
No, I know.
I think. Listen, from my perspective, is count our blessings. Be happy we're in the great state of New Hampshire.
Absolutely.
And honestly, we have it way better than I think a lot of other places, especially in the states that are surrounding us. Because you know, I'm happy not leaving our little area over here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm
me too.
perfectly happy here.
And that's the way to look at it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get off on a tangent about it because I just think it just blows my mind. You know what I mean? But you're right. Let's appreciate what we've got here. And it seems like, you know, life is normal.
Life's been normal here for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A year and a half.
I would say so.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally normal. You know? So I'm going to appreciate that. I like that.
I do. I appreciate it. I'm thankful every day that we live here. And I think I love the Granite State.
Yeah.
And I love our motto, live free or die. And
absolutely.
That's just, and you know what? That's it.
It's funny because I grew up in Massachusetts too. I grew up in North Andover and, you know, I only moved to
Do you want to start a support group?
Yeah, definitely.
We should. Like for people who like moved from Massachusetts to New Hampshire.
Yeah, or we should just encourage more people to leave Massachusetts and come to New Hampshire just because it's better. But, you know, it was funny because the only reason that I moved up here was, well, I went to Plymouth State for college and I loved it up north. But when I was buying my first house, it was 2005 and, you know, home prices were through the roof and just jumping over the border, I was able to get a lot more for my money. And, I mean, from that, I've been here ever since, and I would never move back. You know what I mean? I just love the way things are done up here. It's like a different world, and we're 10 minutes away.
That's literally exactly how we felt when we were up here looking for houses because we made the decision to leave there. Yeah, you know, and when we came over, and it was during the whole beginning of the COVID thing. It was literally like you cross over, and you're in a different world. Yeah, and it's better.
And it's a better place.
And you don't want to go back.
Right. You know, it's a ton of people are moving here from not just Massachusetts, but I've done a lot of loans for people that have moved here from California, New York State. Where else have I done? New Jersey. Yeah. A lot of people moving up here. Yeah. So it's nice. It's a good place. We love it.
We love it.
Yeah, we love it. So back to ThinkGym. Yeah. Right. So tell us a little bit more, just for the people that are listening, so we can help you get more students. I was going to say like clients, but more students.
That would be great. We love more students.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about like the curriculum and what exactly the kids are doing?
Okay. So basically what it is it's we take concepts from math and we work in a project with those whatever concepts we're covering that week. So the whole idea is that the students are, and I'm going to just break it down. I'm talking about the elementary age kids. They are learning, multiplication, division, but then we're doing something that incorporates that so they can actually do something with their hands or apply it to something. It's all about learning the information and then the application of it. Okay. And it just varies week by week. We've done things where we've built a rocket from a straw, okay, which you wrap a paper around and then you design it, whatever, but then you blow into the straw and the thing flies across the room. And then you make it, they measure how far it went. And it's almost like a competition, who's went the further away. And then that's the winner. We do have winners and losers.
I was going to say, somebody loses.
No, not everyone gets a medal or not everyone gets something. You have to earn it and you have to win. That's what we believe in. There's things like that. Or they built like little catapults like out of popsicle sticks.
Yep.
And then we put like a little ball in them and then they start like shooting that off to see how far it can go and what different, what's the difference between one object going further, one object not. And then it's things like that. And those build on each other. For the older kids, what we have added in there is we just came up with this new class and it's called the Inventor Club. And basically, this is more like middle school and also high school. Looks great on a college application. I know, because I've been in higher ed. So we basically have them come in small groups, and they come up with an invention. It literally can be anything. It does not have to be an engineering project or anything to do with anything like that. It could be something, some of the best ideas that make the most money are literally like the simplest thing ever.
Super simple.
Like super simple,
Yeah.
It could be like a new type of, I'm looking at your coffee mug, a new type of mug that like, I know this exists, but let's pretend it doesn't, that turns colors when something's too hot, like something, whatever.
Yeah.
And what we do is we have them design the protocol for that. And then we, help them hash out the idea. And then we literally walk them through the patent process of it. And then it's up to them if they ever want to manufacture that, right? But if they're in high school and they're applying to, and even as an 8th grader, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of, 14-year-olds who have come up with great ideas that have not only made money, but like gotten them some recognition, right?
Yeah.
But if you actually go through the patent process and then you do patent it and then you actually build it and manufacture it, like that looks amazing on a college application, an application for a prep school or a private school or something like that. So that's a new thing we've added.
Oh, that's cool.
I decided to kind of help out the Windham community with like the college application process. I'm not doing applications with them. I used to do that in a private practice.
Yep.
I'm going to be running on every other Saturday a college essay writing seminar. So it's almost like a class, and I'm going to help them hash out their essays and kind of edit them and go through that process. And I figured just do like a group of juniors and seniors in a weekend and kind of do it that way.
I think it's an awesome idea.
Yeah, and then the other one for like the kids who are like super creative is where we just added this all starts in February and it's going to continue through. It's a math art class.
Okay.
So it's basically art, right? So different art projects, but it's going to incorporate certain aspects of math in it. So it's going to be like doing certain designs, like taking certain shapes and how to arrange them on a canvas and how to do certain colors and certain things of that, but then adding the math component in there.
Oh, that's interesting.
With that project. But really what they're doing is their canvas, right?
Yep.
While they're doing that. And it's just like an extra different type of thing to do while still keeping our original STEAM focused courses for that. And really it's for the kids who are, not feeling like they're super challenged in their current math class and want a little bit more. Mm-hmm. That's one of the students that we're looking for. The other kids, as we talked a little bit about COVID, there's a lot of kids who during these remote learning things and things like that, they fell behind. And it's not because of any other reason than the type of learning that wasn't happening. But this is also a great opportunity for someone who's like super smart, but just through no fault of their own because of the online teaching and learning thing just didn't mesh with them, and neither did the hybrid. It's a great chance for them to catch up super, super quick. If they're like, they like it's the kid who was really good at science and math, whatever, before this happened, and all of a sudden just like without the face-to-face thing couldn't
learn or just fell behind a little bit.
But it's just giving them that and just really catching them up quickly. That's the other piece of it too.
That sounds awesome. Is it all like after school?
After school and a couple of classes on weekends.
Okay.
And then we're also going to be having a summer camp
cool.
that we're getting the information out for in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be on our website. We'll be posting on that.
And it's all at your location on Wall Street right next to CVS, right? In the new plaza?
Yep.
Okay. Summer camp's going to be there as well?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you teaching everything?
No.
Who else is teaching?
We hired a teacher.
Nice.
And she's fantastic. She's great with kids. She has a teaching background, also a science background.
Oh, great.
Mr. Money is running the Inventor Club.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. And then for the summer, we have a couple of kids who are home from college that are coming on board, and some really, really great teachers who are off in the summer that I happen to know.
Oh, nice.
So we're excited. We're
Yeah,
excited
the
for
kids.
summer
What
stuff.
I've found, like even just like sports with my kids,
Yeah.
is the kids love learning from other kids, like the college kids.
Yeah,
they love it,
absolutely.
because they think they're cool and
Yeah.
and they listen to everything they say.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was watching my youngest did like a baseball clinic in the spring, and like he wasn't doing all that well when he was with the coaches.
Yeah.
And then the kids came in, and all of a sudden like everything changed because he was talking to them about Fortnite or some video game that they both play, and like then he like really started to play much better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they can relate to him. That's cool. You're bringing in the kids.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. What else should people know about you? Where can they find website, social media, all that good stuff?
All right. So our website is www.mythinkgym.com.
My ThinkGym. Okay.
MyThinkGym. They can go there. All the information's there. The best way to contact us is through email.
Yep.
Okay. So from the website, you can reach us there. We are on Facebook.
Yep.
Like us, share our stuff.
Okay.
And really, that's kind of pretty much
No
it
Instagram?
for now. No, not yet.
Oh, you gotta get on Instagram.
I know. But like we said, I'm old.
You're not old. You're not old.
Yeah, we have to get someone. We have to get a little bit of help with Instagram. But
Yeah.
right now, it's just we're just doing like the Facebook thing and
Yep. That's cool. It's a start. You know
it's
what I
a
mean?
start, and then just our website and really word of mouth.
Yep.
So we're going to be pushing hard
Yeah,
the
and-
next week and a half to get our February people in there and then start pushing the summer camp, and we'll get there.
So talking about your February session, what does it go for X amount of time, 6-8 weeks, or how does that go when they?
We're just starting classes in February.
Okay.
It goes from February through June, and basically you can what we would like people to say almost like a semester, right?
Okay.
You can take the college professor out of the college, but not the thinking.
Right,
So
right.
still a semester. But you can you can cancel monthly
Okay.
type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't know
So-
if it was like you came in for like
no,
a
if
certain
you
session.
can come in February, and if you truly don't
Yeah.
like it, which should not happen, but if you
Right.
don't, you don't have to come in March. Obviously,
Sure.
it's like one of those things, right?
Right. You're not
But
going to force them to come.
Well, no, I can't.
You would, but you can't.
I can't.
All right. Hey, well, this was awesome. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
We'll share all your info, spread it
Thank
all over
you.
the place.
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Karina Money, ThinkGym, mythinkgym.com, right?
.com. That's
All
right.
Thank you, Karina.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Subscribe to success.